Hello, everyone, and welcome to Abnormal Investigations. And a lot of you are probably wondering, what are you doing on a Tuesday night? Well, I didn't have anything else to do. Now, I talked to a lady today that really got my attention, and we talked about some encounters that's going on at her house. They're pretty much being terrorized by something at their house, and I thought maybe we could go over what's going on and maybe give them some help, some ideas, opinions, some things that they may try. It is a single mother and her son, and we'll get into that in a little bit of what's going on with them. It's honestly, it's a very scary thing. There's a lot of different things going on, and it may be one of those things to where I may have to send them down some free bait. I don't know if Jesse feels like traveling again right now, but we'll see if we can help them and what we can get done. Uh, if the internet tonight starts messing up at the very beginning of this, don't worry. What I will do is I will go to my cell phone, and Jesse and Randy will hold down the fort until I get that switched over. So don't worry about that. Uh, Mega, and I hate to mess your name up. I'm going to throw it up there so everybody can see how I can mess it up. Mega Flytron, this guy and his cousin were hunting, killing a Bigfoot, but when they went, the body was gone. That happens a lot. I hear that a lot, that people say they do take down a Bigfoot, and when they get there, the body's either gone or they get surrounded by other ones and they're unable to retrieve the body. I've heard that happen a lot. Yeah, you're right. They're probably going to seek revenge on the people that done it. They'll probably get no rest. And there's one of our abnormal moderators. Good to see you tonight. We got a lot of moderators in here. There's the Wolf Lady. I've been worried about her. I actually checked in on her yesterday and didn't hear from her. So it's good to see you in chat tonight, and I hope everything is good with you and you're enjoying the spring like weather in Oklahoma. It is catfishing weather, Randy. Randy will be saying that here soon. I had to beat him to the punch because I know Randy thinks catfish as much as I do. Uh, but yeah, guys, it's good to see everybody in the chat tonight. We got Randy, of course, co-hosting, moderating. We've got Sharon Guy in here moderating. I don't know how she does everything she does. I would go crazy. It's good to see a Mega Flytron in here. Jesse's in here co-hosting, moderating. There's Sharon Guy again. OCST is in here tonight, guys. Good to see OCST. And also, guys, OCST will be live with us March 2nd. And we're going to be talking about the Oklahoma Bigfoot War and probably a few other things. It's going to be a really good show that goes all the way back to the 1800s. It's been discussed throughout almost every podcaster. And I feel a privilege to live here in Oklahoma to really be able to dive into it and investigate it. And I'm sure that Harold and CRJ, Christy, will know a lot about it too. So I think it should be a really, really good show if Harold allows her to come on the show, if she's behaving herself. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and throw Randy and Jesse in here before we kick the show off so we can get everything rolling.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Everything seems to be running a little bit better. Yes, Mega Flytron, it is very dramatically here. We're very dramatic. We have a lot of important stuff to say, and what we say is 120% right. And what we say is facts, and we don't take any other opinions or anything. What we say is truth. Not really. But there are some people out there that do that. So, Randy, how's your day been today? What you been up to?
Peachy, having the internet being worked on. They got to come back again tomorrow, so maybe they'll get it right tomorrow.
What's weird is you say your internet's down. Our tower over here, our internet tower, it actually went down this evening. And a weird thing is, I learned something by listening to the technicians. On the towers, if you see a tower at night and it normally flashes red and it's flashing white, all the white lights are on, that means that there is trouble with that tower. that something is not working right. It's kind of a identification thing that they do to let them know that the tower is not working right. Hello, Roxanne. Good to see you. Hello, Darren. I'm going to throw them up there real quick during our roll call. Jesse, how have you been? You've been doing something, or do you want to talk about it? May not
Yeah,
want to, probably.
I've had a headache all day. I've been down. I finally feel better now. Had my extra strength coffee.
Well, it's because you're on the abnormal show. That makes everybody feel better.
That must be it. Yeah, there we go.
That's all you needed was a cup of abnormal. Ain't that right, Randy? That'll get anybody going in the morning. See, Randy's got his cup right there. He's already ready. I don't have my cup tonight, guys. I've got my Dr. Pepper bottle with tea in it. I'm having tea instead of Dr. Pepper. So I love tea. I'm a big tea drinker. Hello, Scared Silly. Susan Stewart, good to see you. Ranger Ron, good to see you. We got a lot of people in here tonight. It's good to see everybody, guys. We got a good show coming up. And I don't say good as in I'm glad this lady and her son are being tormented. I mean, it's just a lot of the things that's going on with them is really bad. So I really need to watch my words whenever I talk about things because people can misinterpret what you're saying and think that you're being mean or whatever. I could be like, "Hey, Randy, nice cat. How'd he taste?" Randy don't really eat cats. Yeah. Not that I know of. I mean, I don't know if he eats cats, but I'm assuming he doesn't.
Poor kitty. Look at he's giving you the stink side eye.
It's all right, Megatron. Megafly.
I had to wake her up from her nap, so she's not real happy.
That explains it.
Yeah, Mega. I go by a lot of names. I get called a lot of names, so. A man of a million names. I might as well have a million names. I say I have a million accounts, so I guess I would have a million names.
Oh, that's an over exaggeration. You only have 1,000 something.
Well, yeah.
And he's got thousands of bots, AI bots working for him too that he created.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, in my spare time, I help Elon Musk out with a lot of his stuff. So.
Oh, that's a character right there, Elon Musk.
I figured I might as well put that out there before my my competition does, before they find out the big secret.
Yeah. That explains why your internet's so sketchy too, right?
Well, let me tell you the problem with the internet is we're sending up this Starlink and we're having trouble getting through the firmament. So right now that's kind of messing with my internet. But we're hoping to break the firmament this year. We got the Pope's going to help us, so everything's looking good. What do you think, Randy? Should we?
Beautiful day in paradise.
Do what?
Beautiful day in paradise. Let's go catfishing.
See, I knew it was coming. Boy, I tell you what, it is a beautiful day here in Oklahoma. It is in the 70s, man. It is nice. Light south wind, beautiful sunset. It is nice outside.
It hit 70 down here today. It was nice after that really cold weather.
Mega Flytron. We must have missed something. What did I miss? I probably can't scroll up because if I do, I'll start making my computer go crazy and lagging. And
I'm looking.
Jesse, and if I miss somebody, it's not my net's kind of.
Scroll up.
Yeah, if Randy misses somebody, it's totally Jesse's fault.
Yep.
Ooh, Mindy, I need to try that. I need to try that for sure. I didn't even know they made that. Yes, Latricia. We got a lot of yard work done. We got a big surprise video coming out on Wide Open Adventures, too. Matter of fact,
okay.
Go ahead, Jesse. Sorry.
So my child, after that last part about him hunting the dog, Said, but the dog man jumped out of the bushes and knocked his cousin out, broke his gun in half, and then suddenly Michael the Archangel appears wearing sunglasses and angel chaps, fights the dog man dramatically.
Well, that is really strange that he said that because tonight in my notes right here, and yes, I do still
Something
use
about
paper.
something about the Archangel Michael fighting dogmen in chaps and sunglasses.
Well, I don't know if Michael would be wearing sunglasses. I guess he
He was wearing
could.
chaps.
He might have been riding the horse down.
Maybe.
I'm looking for, there is something though that he said, and I'm going to highlight this for tonight because I think this is going to really mess with some people tonight, what we're going to talk about. I wouldn't have came on tonight if this wouldn't have been, I talked to this lady and they're having a really hard time. So I felt really compelled to come on tonight and to try to get her at least some help. Latricia, I want to answer your question real quick before we do that. Wide Open Adventures is growing so much. I was actually in contact with Josh today. We got a lot of things planned out. Hopefully, a rabbit hunt coming up really soon and a catch, clean, cook. Logan will be eating some of that rabbit with us. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing some filming for Wide Open Adventures. We got a lot of things planned. Jesse knows a whole lot of what we got planned. We got a lot of things coming over on that channel. So if you haven't joined that channel, I'd like to personally invite you all to come on over. We do lives over there. Y'all can hang out with us over there. It's a good family channel most of the time. And you can watch us plant the garden. And we're going to be doing a lot of things, coming, hunting, fishing, adventures, hikes. A lot of cool events are going to be coming. So if you haven't joined, I would recommend it. I think it's really hot. So, and Randy can probably throw the link in here in a little bit. I think he has it for Wide Open Adventures. He's our technical man also, and he's got the red light on. He's appearing his. Thank you, Latricia, for bringing that up. It says he gives the guy the sunglasses and wakes up the cousin. Man, that is really strange. I don't know why he would give him sunglasses, but a lot of times these creatures do things that does not make sense. The sunglasses could have belonged to somebody else that it took from. I don't know. Could be a gift. It could be gifting. I'm not sure why it would do that. Any ideas, guys? Any opinions?
Only thing I keep thinking of whenever something like that happens is like what happened with your flashlight. Maybe they thought, yeah, could return it or gifting. Maybe I don't know.
Mindy, we're going to put our small sticks and stuff to work coming up pretty soon. It's going to be a pretty good video. We got a lot of ideas that we're going to be doing with those. Randy, Figgy said, are you going camping? Uh-oh. He might be having trouble. Yeah, his internet has been giving him, he might be trying, he'll be back. All right, well, anything else we want to talk about before we get started? Let me turn this down real quick so I don't have to listen to this beep. Oh, there is something I want to say. I don't know why this beeped. I have everything turned off. Everything. And it still does it sometimes. I don't know why. I do have something I want to say. And it's Jesse's fault that I almost forgot it.
Yep.
There's Randy. What I do want to say is I want to thank all of the new subscribers. This last week, not even exaggerating, I have been approving new subscribers just on the hour. I mean, I go in, approve them, and then I turn around and there's more people wanting to join. So I appreciate all of you guys. You joined my personal page. If you want more content, you need to go to the abnormal page and go over there and get in there, and you'll get more of the stuff. But you will get it almost anywhere you go. All right, guys. Do y'all have anything you'd like to say before we start jumping into this? Anything y'all would like to add, or any shout outs, or anything y'all would like to say?
No. Let's go.
Anything, Randy? Or are you good to go?
I'm trying to get your links out there now that my internet's back online. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, there
You're
we go.
okay.
I see them.
You are good.
There's your wide
Randy's
open adventure for anyone looking for his link. It's there up in chat right now.
We appreciate that. All right, so Jesse and Randy, as always, feel free to jump in, give your opinions or whatever. This lady is watching tonight, and her son is also watching, so we will keep that in mind. They are looking for ideas, opinions, and y'all are going to see why it gets pretty crazy.
Okay.
She gave me permission to use her first and last name, which I'm not going to do that. I'm going to redact that. Just me personally, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So we're just going to use first names in this. The location is going to be around Shawnee, Oklahoma. If anybody is familiar with where Shawnee, Oklahoma is, um, that's where this incident is going to take place. This encounter that's going on. We will use her first name. Her name is Sarah. She is a 42-year-old single mother. Her son's name is Tyler, and he is a 12-year-old. He is her only child. They live in the country. They have bought a house on 10 acres, and they have lived there for about 10 years. So, what started happening at their house actually was not happening at their house whenever they first moved in. This all started happening approximately a year ago. And there's some telltale things that kind of started happening that I thought was pretty interesting. And I am going to tell you, she was very nervous, very scared, and very emotional, as was her son while she was on the phone doing the interview. They're going through a really tough time. This is really hard on them. And I think as I get into this, you guys are going to see more and more why they're really bothered. I made my notes, guys. I've done my notes on my tablet, so excuse me if it takes me a little bit to get information out to you. I have to try to make sense of my own work. Sarah and Tyler about said their last name, and I may end up saying it before it's over because I used their last name because she told me I could, but I'm going to try not to. Sarah and Tyler have lived in their rural Oklahoma home. Now, here's the weird thing. Okay, I got a part of it wrong. The 10 acres they owned in Shawnee, the reason they had no trouble there is because they sold that and they have now moved to northeast Oklahoma and they live on the Verdigris River. She said I could give that information out, but I cannot give out the exact location, which I don't blame her. I wouldn't want somebody telling everybody exactly where I live. Okay, so they live on the Verdigris River. They have lived there for approximately 5 years after selling their house that they lived in for 10 years, and they had got the money to move up to northeast Oklahoma to be able to purchase a home in the country along the river. And the reason for doing that is she is what she says you would call a herbalist or a gatherer. She loves to go out into the wild and gather different plants for medicinal and eating purposes. She said living along the river gives her more opportunity to be able to do that. And her son is an avid outdoorsman. He's 12 years old. He loves to explore. He loves to hunt, fish, do all those things. So they've seen this as an opportunity. As they was living in this house, they said, and this is this is what's weird to me even, that they started noticing strange lights in the sky that was following the Verdigris River behind their house.
Hmm.
These lights would travel the river, get behind their house, and they would hover and they would move in different directions. She said at first they thought they were cool. They would go outside, they would observe them, they would get their binoculars, they would take photographs of them, but the photographs they took, she said, was blurry all the time. They could not get a good photograph. She said at first they thought it might be a plane or a helicopter, but the lights were too high. The lights moved too quickly and in directions and at speeds that no aircraft they have ever seen move. They've seen the lights on multiple occasions, and it always happens and starts around 9 to 10 p.m. So she said it's got pretty much a starting time that it always starts. Darren, she didn't say, but very good chance here in Northeast Oklahoma that they are. I would say pretty good chance. uh, they was using the binoculars trying to take photos of it. They would sit outside. They actually got to the point to where they were sitting outside waiting for these lights to come. They would go outside, have their dinner, a snack, a drink, and they would come right up the river between 9 and 10 o'clock. On February 20th, which is pretty close, Sarah and Tyler were in their living room when they saw the lights again. But this time, the lights were a little bit different. They were closer to the house and they were more intense. The lights were so bright and they were pulsating white that they seemed to be hovering over their house in the trees, illuminating and lighting up their whole front room through the window. So, does anybody want to say anything up into this point? Any ideas or any suggestions or anything?
Um, no, I'm thinking about some stuff, but yeah, no, not yet.
Okay. I'm going to add one thing, and I think one of the mistakes that they may have made was they was giving these objects attention and giving them place, and I think that could contribute to the coming back at the same time every night and everything because they are getting a lot of the same. You're out there, you're seeing it, you're filming it, you're giving it attention, you're giving it place, right?
Well,
So
how could you not though if they're that? I mean, that prominent and close and hovering around you, and I think that's just natural too to have to want to see what those are.
yeah, well, maybe to us, maybe not to most people. We're kind of the weird ones. We kind of
I
run
mean,
toward that stuff where most people
I mean,
scream and run and say, "Oh no."
my first thought would be drones. Well, depends on how high up, I guess. Maybe.
Treetop high. She said they're treetop high.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, I would probably think that they were drones.
Okay. Moving on. See, I have the advantage though because I got to hear the full story.
Yeah.
So. All right. So as they watched the lights, they lit up their front room, which they had never done before. There was a pulsating white light that almost, and it did not, but almost made her son, the 12-year-old Tyler, he almost had an epileptic seizure because of the
Mm.
pulsating lights. He ended up with a severe migraine. He was sick to his stomach, and she said was almost flu-like. Whenever the craft, we're going to call it a craft right now. Whenever the craft left, yeah, it did, just like that, Mega. But whenever the craft left, Mom got a little bit of the cold. Uh, he still was sick. It's like he had an exposure to something. But as time went on, he began to feel better throughout the night and was better by morning. So she says she feels like whatever it was actually affected him physically. She feels like it wasn't just lights. She feels like there was more to it than just the lights. And I'll give, well, Darren, yes, we will get to that for sure. Uh, she might be seeing lights from the road to the water. Mega, I thought that, but not as we get into this. It's pretty clear that it's really bad. Should I tell you what I think? I'm going to let you tell me what you think first. Do you think it is a physical attack, or do you think it was just the lighting from whatever Kraft done this to him? What runs through your mind when you heard that?
I would almost think it could have been something more, um, maybe targeted infra pulse, whatever you call it. I mean, but if she wasn't affected, I don't know. It's strange. Could they have been targeting just the child? In typical cases, I mean, usually it seems that all of this stuff does typically target children.
Right.
I would question what. So when did the stuff? Did it start? It didn't start immediately when they moved out of the property, right?
No. It was after they had moved onto the property. It was about 6 months, she said.
6 months. So in that time, okay. So in that time frame, they had already started gathering and spending a lot of time out in the outdoors, right? I'm sure exploring the areas and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
So
go
do you
on.
think something they caught the attention of something?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they might have caught the attention. They were probably for the first couple of months just kind of checking them out to see what they were doing, and now they were making
Mega
themselves
Fly
known.
Mega Flytron? No, it's worse than a bad dream. She wishes it was a dream. Trust me, she does. All right. Uh, After the lights had made her son sick, and he had got over the sickness from the lights that was pulsating inside of the house, she went outside to check to see if everything was okay, because these lights were like super bright, super pulsating, and people. Her son was very sick. I mean, he was incapacitated. So, I mean, that really, really messes with you. So she goes outside. She smells like plastic burning, right?
Hmm.
Like she compares it to a milk jug. She says she
Okay.
smells what smells like a milk jug that had been burning. So she's frantic. She's looking everywhere, hoping that, the wires to her house ain't on fire, that it's not electrical. And she notices on the window to the front room where the light came through, the siding that goes around that window is melted. It is actually melted and pulled back where the light came through that window.
Okay.
Just
The
let me know
glass
if you have
double.
Hmm?
any.
What was that, Randy?
Uh, his
Yeah.
internet. I think he said, was it the glass? And it was the siding. It was the siding on the house that had melted and was pulled back, and that's what she was smelling.
Okay.
Hopefully, Randy will be back with us. Uh, Additional details that I had on that I asked her. These are questions that I asked her after she had told me that. Sarah and Tyler have never seen anything like this before in their area. They have never witnessed any lights that bright that had made them sick, anything that they would have thought was brighter than like a airplane. Now the lights that they seen coming down the river, they were weird, but they wasn't brighter than a normal than a normal airplane. And that was one of the things that I asked her, and she said, no, they weren't any brighter. So this one thing that happened that shined this light through their window, it was actually brighter, more intense, and I guess different. She said it was really, really different. Mega says he knows what they're saying, but she said it was really different. And if I miss anybody, guys, I apologize. We'll take questions at the end too, and we'll take breaks and take questions also in your all's input as we go into this. I'm watching two monitors. It may not look like it, but I've got everything on a second monitor.
So I have a curious question. Is there, just out of curiosity, is the side of their house, she probably didn't give a description, is it a dark colored or a lighter colored home?
White.
Okay.
White. It's white siding with actually blue trim.
Okay.
And it's all plastic.
Okay. That's what I wanted.
And to answer the question you're probably kicking around in your head is no, the blue did not melt. Just the white.
Okay, because I was just looking it up. Vinyl siding, 160 to 165. The darker the color, the higher the temperature would need to be. So 160 to 165 degrees Fahrenheit.
So do you think we're talking a laser that came through this window?
That's what I would assume. Yep.
Any thoughts, Randy, before I head on down it?
I had something happen through the clouds one day getting out of the car. I was underneath the tree, but through the shade of the clouds, sunlight, like a laser beam, hit my skin and was burning the outside of my skin until I had to move out of the beam. I think the clouds created a very hot, intense beam of sunlight because when it hit my hand through the shadow of the tree, it was cooking the outside of my skin wherever that beam hit.
So you think
that was something that I had happened like
that's interesting.
There was a cloudy day. The sun was gleaming through the clouds, but when the beam hits you, it was burning you, like literally burning the top layer of your skin off. I had to move out of that area.
Okay. So
I've got scars on my hands from that burn.
This happened at approximately, I actually asked her the time on this because I wanted to know. This happened at approximately 2:45 a.m. They noticed that the lights, after that night, after that had happened, there's Mr. Logan. After that had happened, they noticed the lights started to appear more frequent, not just between the 9 and 10 o'clock hour. They were more sporadic. They were more frequent. They were closer to the house, and they were shining their lights on the house even more. So instead of shining the lights down the river, traveling the river, they're now kind of focusing on the house. They're showing up more often. It's like they're becoming, to me, Mega, like they're targeting something. Like something has been targeted. Something has caught their interest. And I think as we go through this, and I know they're watching, and we're not trying to scare you guys, Sarah and Tyler, but we're trying to give you information and just our opinions based on what I got from the interview. So we're not trying to scare you. Hello, Meredith. Good to see you. They did try to take photos, and this is a really, really weird thing. Tyler, and I do not know a lot about these. A lot of you all in chat may know more about this than I do. But Tyler has an iPhone. And she said the iPhone that he has, they have really good filters for the cameras. So whenever the lights came back, he took the iPhone, took a photograph of the light, and the photograph showed black. So whenever he went to exit the photograph to take another photograph, it's black. And then he tries to open his phone and it's black. His camera's not even working. So they took it to a technician, and the lens inside of his photo, that takes the photos, the lens, was actually destroyed because they said it was like he had put the lens toward the sun and had just left it there, and it had some kind of flares, they called it, that had developed inside of the lens, and they had to replace
Okay.
it. Randy.
That's
Maybe these
interesting.
creatures have special abilities to mess with electronics. Could that be the case? Could these, whatever these
Well,
things are, have the ability to mess with electronics, something like that,
ele-
to where we can't take a
electronics would be
picture of it?
electronics would be one thing, but if that was the actual lens, that's not even.
Or was
I
that a
mean, that
radiation spike that caused
or a
that?
light, or would a laser do that to a camera?
yes, just like your eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could destroy it.
So if they're taking, say, photographs of this craft, we'll call it a craft right now, and it knows they're doing that, and it sends a laser, is that going to destroy your camera on your phone?
More than likely, these things saw that they were being observed. This is my opinion. They saw that they were being observed and photographed or videoed, and they disabled. I mean, they sent a laser beam to disable it. I mean, that's my opinion based on the information. Does that sound plausible?
I think so. And then it makes you even, you have to think about if they're that high up and that far away and they can see you with the camera outside in the dark, they're able to see pretty good in the dark, you know? So,
How can they detect taking video of these things? How are they able to detect that? Does anybody know or have an opinion?
the only way
They,
I would even guess that they would know is if they was running something on whatever that is that would be like a FLIR. They're running like a
yeah,
FLIR. Then they would be able to see you outside and be able to see heat signature and motion. Maybe not know you're using a camera, but they would at least be able to see you and probably tell that you are focusing on them, depending on the technology. I mean, there's probably stuff out there better than FLIR right now. So, just guessing.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, and there's advanced tech that we don't know anything about yet.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's on your mind, Jesse? Before I hop on, you got
No,
something on your mind?
nothing.
Yep.
Nope.
Okay. Here's the bad part. This is where I really start to worry for Tyler and Sarah. And I'm not trying to scare you guys, but I told her I would be honest. I told her that we would all be very honest. And she said she wanted honesty and she wants your all's opinions because, I mean, we're talking about it and they're living it and they're trying to figure it out. So
Mm-hmm.
could they be searching for a
And they
power
feel
source?
like
Yeah. Now there's
they're in
water in
danger.
the air. Darkness spinning the phone settings. Yes, they are infrared light. Okay, this is where I worry about them, and this is where it's really probably going to grab a lot of people's attention. At 3:03 a.m., she woke up in her bedroom out of a dead sleep. Larry was calling her. No, not really. But at 3:03 a.m., she woke up out of a dead sleep, and she had this urge to get a drink of water. And she got up, said she went to the kitchen like she normally does. She has night lights throughout the house, so she doesn't have to turn on lights. Got her a glass of water like she always does. And then she decided to go check on Tyler, which, as a parent, I've done that a million times. When you're up,
Mm-hmm.
you just go ahead and check on him.
Yep.
She says, as I entered his room and was approaching his room down the hallway, he had his door open, which he had been doing because he had been afraid also and didn't want his door shut at night, which
Mm-hmm.
I know kids do that too. And she said, I saw this and I knew that it was a normal thing for him. Whenever he was afraid, he would leave his door open with his TV on. She says, as I got closer to his room and entered his room, I saw this thing. It was gray, like a shadow, but it had a distinct shape. It looked like a little gray alien. It was about 4 foot tall. It stared right at me. It had its hand on my son's leg while my son was asleep. This thing looks at me and stares at me with its large black eyes. And the weird thing is to me, she says, is I thought that it was going to run and jump out of the window. I thought for sure that's how it would escape. But as I stood there staring at it, it ran over, opened his closet door, and jumped inside of his closet, slamming the door behind it. I was so terrified, Mike, that I actually screamed and I was sobbing. But I was trying to keep it together so that I did not scare my son any more than what he already was. My son awoke and he asked me what was going on. And I asked him if he had anything in his closet, not wanting to alarm him too much. So we walked over to the closet door, and I'm carrying my son's t-ball bat. We opened the closet door, and there's nothing there. But there is a strong odor of gunpowder. Me and Tyler are both hunters, and we both said when we opened up the closet door, it smelled like a 12 gauge that had been fired. You could smell the gunshot residue in the air of the closet. But there was nothing inside of the closet.
That's new.
I saw that werewolf disappear 3 feet space. It just vanished in the thin air in a twinkle of an eye. Maybe these creatures have similar abilities. Perhaps.
Was there any strange smell after that happened? That you can
smell like ozone.
Like ozone?
Smell like ozone.
Latricia says closets are portals. I have heard that a lot. Figgy says, are they orbs or a beam? They're actually lights, and y'all are. We'll get more into that in a second. That's what I was going to say. I think what she was probably referring to is what a lot of people say is the sulfur smell that a lot of people. Smell.
Okay, now I guess the sulfur smell to me is a different smell necessarily than just a gunpowder smell, because a gunpowder smell, it does remind me of, there's still a metallic scent to it. Like when I think of sulfur, I think of like a match being struck.
Like now, when you think about sulfur, where does sulfur come from, and what creatures would be smelling like that?
Right. Now, I've heard people say several times that they've smelled the sulfur smell, but I haven't really necessarily heard them say it as like gunpowder necessarily. So that would make me wonder, was there that metallic scent to it as well, or was it the sulfur that they were smelling?
And another reason she could have compared it to a shotgun shell is she may not know the smell of sulfur, and since they're hunters, that might have been the closest thing that resonated with her when she smelled it that came to mind.
Yeah, that's okay. So that would make sense.
A lot of people will go to the nearest thing that they can make sense out of.
Okay.
Hey, read what the Whoop Lady just wrote.
That's what I was just throwing up. I was going to say, yep, I agree. And Randy agrees with you also.
Yep, and I have heard that several times. The sulfuric smell, demonic. Yeah. Oh, okay. You are too heavy for my lap. So. Sorry.
Yeah, my wife has had some interesting encounters. Maybe one day we'll get her to share some of them with you.
Sure.
Well, maybe one
time. Okay, so she says after that happened, she told her son to come into her bedroom to make him a pallet on the floor and to sleep in her floor. They shut the door, barricaded it, and locked it, which I don't blame them. I'd do the same thing. They woke up the next morning and there was no sign of anything. There was nothing going on in the house. Nothing was disturbed. Everything was as it was. So The doors were locked from the inside. The windows were still locked from the inside. They have no idea how I entered, except, and I got this out of her, and she never thought about it until I brought it up. She does have a doggy door. And we discussed that doggy door. And I told her that that either needs to go or she needs to find a way to lock that or to secure that, because I will bet you it came through the doggy door.
I have a problem with the doggy door theory. How did it get to the doggy door to get out from the closet? Can anybody explain that?
Right, right. So, I mean,
that don't make sense. I guess there's a doggy door in the closet that we don't know about.
Well, if these, okay, and here I'm just throwing it out there. If these beings are, they manifest themselves through an energy source and are able to manifest themselves physically, but then disappear, could they be going through the walls, either through our own electricity or whatever, the cords, and able to travel that way too, to get their way out? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Is it a possibility?
That's a good theory. I mean, I haven't seen one. You know, I would like to have seen where that creature went after it disappeared in front of me. That'd be nice to know, where the hell did it go. You know, did it go to another dimension, or did it disappear and reappear 100,000 feet from here? I have no clue. I mean, you know, that's why we're not able to track these things down, because you're not able to. And where do they go when they vanish like that? I have no idea. How would you even track something like that if you could track it? I mean, seriously, if you put a tag on it and it can disappear into another realm, that tracker is not going to track it, I don't think.
Right. Right.
Okay, so here is where this gets bizarre, guys. This gets downright creepy without saying a bad word in front of that. So her son, the next day, goes to his room and he's doing what he does, right? He's playing these games, and she said he likes to hang out in his room a lot and listen to music and plays PlayStation. He works on the computer a lot, does a lot of that kind of stuff.
Oh, so, wait, real quick. Sorry, question. I misread that. I thought Darren asked if they went to the closet to look. He wanted to know if she actually went into the closet to look, or if she just went to the closet.
She just opened the door and looked into the closet.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
And I sent you a private chat to you and Randy.
Sorry, I had it blocked.
On the Patreon.
Okay. Yep. I gotcha. I have been.
Okay. He's in his bedroom playing his games, doing his thing. She's standing at the sink. She's doing dishes, right? And she says it's a normal night. It's kind of a warm night. She's got the window open. The wind's blowing through. She's enjoying the nice, cool weather. She's doing the dishes. They just ate. He's in his room, kind of winding down for the night. He starts screaming bloody murder, like screaming for his life. She runs to the bedroom with a butcher knife, throws the door open. He's laying on the floor like he's waking up, like he had just passed out. She said he was white as a sheet, like something had terrified him so bad that he had screamed and passed out. So she got a wet washcloth, wash rag, however you say it, washcloth. I say wash rag. And she got him to the bed. He got awake and everything. She asked him what happened. In his closet, his dad had won for him at the Tulsa State Fair a teddy bear. And this teddy bear was about 4 foot tall. He says whenever he walked past the closet, It attacked him. It tried to wrestle him to the ground. He was screaming for help. And he said while he was screaming for help, it tried to place its paw over his face. So he's telling her this story in bed. So she, of course, goes over to the closet, opens the closet, and of course, the teddy bear is sitting in the closet, she said, in the corner where he always left it. So she pulls the teddy bear out of the closet. And when she pulls the teddy bear out of the closet, she noticed that it's really limp and its stuffing is falling out of the back of it. So when she turns the teddy bear around, she notices that the teddy bear is cut from the top of the head all the way down to his tail. So she screams, throws it down, grabs him, starts trying to get out of the house. And she said his clothes in his closet are just like going crazy, like something shaking the bar that the clothes hang on. So they run out of the house. She goes to her dad's house. And she said she's thinking the whole time she's driving that whatever this damn thing is, it was hiding inside of that teddy bear. And that's why the night it ran in the closet, they never found it because it hid inside of that teddy bear. And it was sitting there looking at them the whole time and was in the house the whole night. And they never knew it.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That gives me shivers.
Yeah.
And they're having to live with this. Good night, Starfire. So that was smart of her. I told her to get out of the house, and I think that her opinion is correct. I believe whatever it was hiding inside of that teddy bear. It was smart enough to do it because after they go to her dad's house, her dad says that he goes and, of course, checks her house for her and everything. And whenever he gets to her house, the back door is open, like somebody had left the house. So I'm guessing that while she was gone, whatever was in that house, it ran out when she left and probably knew that she was going to go tell somebody. So that little boy was sleeping in that bedroom with whatever that was actually in the closet.
Now, why would, I mean, if it was wanting to kill him, it could have killed him easily. But instead, it terrorized him.
Right.
Why?
Jesse, go ahead and say it. This is, and unless we need to do a Patreon show.
No, it's just it's definitely different than any other experience I've heard anybody having. I mean, typically these things will disappear, like Randy says, whether they're going to another dimension or, they're able to manifest themselves through walls or whatever. But for it to be stuck like that and hanging out in the closet, it's definitely different. Strange. I don't even know. I don't even know the thought process right now. I've got a million questions going through my head. So
Throw them out there. Let's see if we can answer some of them. I'm sure
How long has this,
she said she.
how long, how much time has passed since that event has happened? Do you know approximately?
The last event happened last night.
this
Oh,
this
wow.
just happened last night, or this is a
No,
different event? Okay.
it's a different event.
So this happened after the 20th, but not last night.
Yes.
Within the last 5 days. Okay.
They probably don't need to stay alone for a while. I mean, that's my opinion. I would, if she can stay with her dad for a while or somebody, I wouldn't be out there alone. That's for sure with her and her kid. For now, I
Yeah.
mean, there's what's going on.
Okay, so after the dad checks the house and he says everything is fine, she goes back home. So this is what she says. We've tried everything to get rid of them, to get them to stop. We've left out food, we've left out gifts, and even tried to communicate with them, but nothing seems to work. They just keep breaking our outside lights whenever we put in motion detectors. We put out game cameras. Every one of them has been stolen the first night we put them out. It's like they're intentionally trying to intimidate us. I was asleep the other night, and I was in one of those periods where I was half asleep, half awake. And I heard something whispering at my window. And I'm so terrified and I'm sickened to even write this. She didn't even want to write this part. This is before I called her. It told me through my window, just let us have Tyler.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm.
This
What do you
sounds
think?
familiar with these creatures liking children and women. It's what do they want the child for? To eat?
No,
Right.
I don't think they want the children for that reason. They want the children for
To
other
raise
reasons.
themselves?
Yep.
Or for
Children who, I mean, think about it. As an adult, you've been exposed to the chemicals and everything else on this earth way longer than a child. A child is more manipulated and manipulable. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I would have to absolutely agree with that.
oh yeah.
I mean, you put a child in an environment after so long, they're going to start believing that environment. That's just,
Yep.
I mean, that's basic psychology. So after she hears it say, just let us have Tyler, she said, I raised up in the bed and I screamed at it, no. And whenever I screamed no at it, it started beating on my window so hard I thought it was going to bust it. She said, I jumped up and I ran to Tyler's room, and whenever I did, his window was about 6 inches open and slammed shut, and something ran from the window into the woods. At this point, I called 911. The sheriff's office arrived. They looked around, mostly laughing and joking as I could hear them outside. You could hear them giggling and laughing as they were looking around. And they gave me a copy of the report that they filled out, and they said that I was dealing with a bunch of teenage kids that was probably trying to scare me and my son or window peek at me. They told us to keep our windows drawn and to make sure that our doors and windows are locked. I can tell you right now, the way they laughed at us and as humiliated as I felt, and my son feeling even humiliated whenever he told them there was a creature coming down the river, and they looked at my son and told him that he watches too much TV, I decided at that point we're not going to get any help.
Unfortunately, no, not from them.
Because they're programmed to exactly what Meredith
They're
just said. It's a trespasser or a prowler. It's nothing cryptid or
Mm-hmm.
paranormal.
they can't acknowledge this stuff because it would prove the Bible is true. I mean, if they go showing werewolves and Bigfoots are real, then people would figure it out basically that we were lied to about a lot of this stuff, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I mean, Kaylee's part alien. I had her DNA.
Leave her alone.
One of these
Uh,
days, she's gonna get you. You haven't learned about a woman's yet, have you, Mike? Especially the ones that are kin to you. Ooh, she's
A
going to make your
scorned
life
woman.
miserable.
A
You'd
scorned
think he'd
woman.
learn by now. He's surrounded by them. Gee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would think he might keep his mouth shut, and not piss him off, but he's just asking for it.
Right.
And then I don't want to hear him complain when he gets his paybacks because it's coming. I'm sure. We go
I'm
around
always,
and come to
I'm always paid back, Randy. That's the story of my life. And guys, this gets even weirder, believe it or not.
Like,
And I hope
not
we're
weird
helping
enough.
Sarah. And I hope we're helping her and not just scaring her to death. But I mean, and we'll do a final.
I tell you what, I don't want to go outside tonight after these stories. I really don't. At least not by myself.
Right. I mean, this is like stuff nightmares are made out of. I mean,
No kidding.
I feel sorry for her and her son right now that they're going through this. This is horrible.
Does
And
her
if you would have
family member believe? Does she have family that believe her?
her dad is all she has around, and he's older. He's in his 70s. He does believe her, but she said he's not in like the greatest health to be out there doing all this.
He can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's scary. What Ranger said. Read this. That'll raise a hair on the back of your neck too.
Yeah.
And with her talking to her on the phone, you can just hear the fear in her voice. I mean, and her child, their kid, he is so afraid, so scared. You can tell there's no rest in that house. They're not resting, guys. They are totally in fear.
Right.
Tyler even said, and I noted this in my report, Tyler said, I just want to feel safe in my own home. I don't want to be scared all the time. That's whenever I spoke to her about Jesus and rebuking all this. And she wanted to keep her religion private, so I'm not going to go into if she's going to or not. But we did speak about that. She also said that the other night that several of their chickens and their small rabbits that they raise have gone missing. But what was weird is the other night, some of our animals were found mutilated, left in their cages with their intestines out and their heads missing. That has never happened before.
No, it sounds like they're upping the fear factor.
They're upset because she didn't give in to their demands.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're trying to put more pressure for her to give in, to give up her son to these things. My opinion.
Right. I'd love to, the Wolf Lady, if I could. I would love to. We get this channel up and big enough, and I will start going on the road. I've talked to Jesse about that. That's one of the things I do want to do is go on the road.
Okay, question. I'm assuming she is a Christian. Yes? No?
Yes.
Was okay. And so her and her son have both been baptized?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm still thinking through stuff, so.
Okay, so after that happens to their animals, and Randy will probably know a lot about this too. He, I think, does a lot of hunting and stuff.
Used to when I was younger.
Right. Huh? Well, it told me by the way that the animals were left that whatever done this was definitely not a predator killing to eat, because if it was taking the innards out of these animals, taking the head and leaving the bodies, it's leaving the most amount of meat. unless it's eating the organs. But still, yeah, organs on a chicken and a rabbit, if you're large, you're really not getting that much. So to
No.
me, it was more of a statement than it was I'm hungry.
Like that thing that killed your dog that one time.
Right. Right.
It didn't get what it wanted because it wanted the kid, and when she wouldn't give it up, they're killing the animals in retaliation. Is what the evidence looks like, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we believe that these things do retaliate. They get angry and they lash out, and it's not always at the person. It can be at another person, a friend of yours, a family member, a dog, a pet, an animal, or something on the farm. You never know because it gets worse. Believe it or not. Uh, uh, she said, "I went outside and I'm horrified by what's happening to our animals. It's like something is intentionally targeting them. We have tried to secure the pins, but whatever is doing this seems to be able to open the doors. We have latches on them that require you to have to open them. So whatever's doing this tells me that they have an opposable thumb, that they are able to open the latches and to be able to close the latches." Tyler says he looked outside the window the other night and he said he's seen what he describes as a Sasquatch. But the thing that he described weird about the Sasquatch was that whenever he was talking to the Sasquatch, this is what's weird, and I don't like that part. He was talking to the Sasquatch through the window. So there's a line of communication now between the sun and whatever he's talking to. The Sasquatch started to glow very brightly and had wings and flew up into the air and over to the river.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
do with that? Wow. Um, is moving a possibility?
no, they wouldn't be able to.
Well, I don't think even
Okay.
I don't at this point. I don't think moving would necessarily just stop something like this all out. It sounds like yeah they are looking to it. So part of it reminds me of that dream experience that I had, and I mean I don't know, was it just a dream? Where I was approached and they wanted my daughter, and I rebuked them and prayed and told them it was never going to happen. And in my dream, I was approached by the angels too, and they said, we've been waiting for you to answer. And so that kind of makes me think of that. But with the transforming and the growing the wings, it reminds me of another story experience that I had heard where an individual had actually been getting approached at night by these gray beings. And at one point, and I don't know if I heard this on another show or what it was, but um, if it was somebody else that I was interviewing a few years ago. But at one point, they actually woke up, and I'm just trying to remember. This being was sitting at a chair next to them, next to the bed, and it was like glitching, almost like there was something wrong with. If you think about like TV shows, like there's something wrong with their transponder or something. Um, but it was glitching from like an alien form to a demonic form to a human form, and it wasn't able to hold its shape. And that's what
And
that just reminded me of.
I'm not ignoring you. She's actually sending me an email right now. So if you want to, you can just keep on with your theory, and I'm going to write down what she's telling me. Oh my
Oh,
God, this is like crazy.
but I'm wondering if these things, I mean, if there's a way that if she were to be able to rebuke them, or if she would have would maybe, if they are trying to communicate with her and say that they want her son, and she rebukes them and says no, that, I mean, she has authority over her son. Technically, he is she is guardian of him on this earth, and
She has the authority to cover him in the blood of Jesus.
yes,
These creatures cannot cross the bloodline. Once you're
yes,
saved, you've got the blood covering of Jesus Christ over you, and these creatures cannot touch you. That's why these things can't take the kids without the mother's permission. To
right,
me, they're demonic. I mean, these things are strong enough that the mom by herself and her abilities couldn't defend that child from these creatures. They're having to ask her for permission, and that sure seems leaning towards demonic.
yes, and he needs to stop communicating with them 100%.
Cease all
He,
contact with them.
mm-hmm.
Most, I agree with you. Sorry, Jess, I don't mean to overtalk you.
No, no. Sometimes I don't have the right, like my mind is going so fast, I don't have the right words to. So no,
Well,
that was
yeah, and I was trying to help you
yeah, no, I appreciate it.
communicate. But that thing flying and changing into something else, I mean, I don't know what you do with that. I mean, really? Seriously? Wow.
But yeah,
What
that's
would that be,
exactly
a
what that
shape?
reminds.
Somebody
I mean,
said in the chat earlier, someone saying, asking shapeshifter? Is that what that is? Oh, yeah.
well,
I
I
don't
mean,
think so.
they can take on any form they want. Honestly, I mean, you hear about that all the time. These things being able to take on different forms.
And that would be a perfect question for Ryan Tremblay if we had him on. He would definitely be able to go more into the Navajo. He knows a lot about the Wendigo and stuff like that. So we are going to be having him on, though. I spoke with him. We are going to have him on the show. Uh,
But the
okay, so
lights
she
and
just.
cameras aren't. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was just going to say she emailed me, and she's watching the show right now. And she said that whatever's going on, we must be doing something because about 15 minutes ago, she said something at the back door sounded like a choking dog was yelling, "Stop, stop, stop," banging on her back door. So her dad's on his way over there. So she thinks it's because we're doing the show right now talking about them. They're upset.
I wonder if I wonder if as a collective with everybody that is here tonight that is listening and is understanding, if a group prayer would help.
Yes, it would. There's power in prayer. The Word of God says that when two or more are gathered together, the Lord is here in the midst of us. So if we all agree that
Yes,
by the
I
power of Jesus Christ, we rebuke these attacks off of this woman and this child, you have no authority to terrify these people. They are Christians. You're crossing the bloodline. We rebuke this attack by the blood of Jesus Christ. You leave them and depart by the blood of Jesus Christ and do not return. This is a spiritual battle that we have to wage. And she cannot be in fear. These things feed off of fear. If you get into fear, that kind of neutralizes your prayer. If you're rebuking these things and you're in fear, that's not going to work. You got to be standing on the word of God and know who you are in Christ. So when you rebuke these things, they will flee from you. They have to. They can't cross the bloodline. But you can't be in fear, if that makes any sense. You
mm-hmm.
have to stand on the word of God, believing the word of God is more real than that monster standing in front of you. You have to believe the word of God over what you're seeing in front of you, that the word of God is true. And that's why I'm still here after my encounters. It's because the
Yeah.
word of God works if you believe.
So
Man.
it gets worse. After her animals were found mutilated, She woke up the next morning to find more of her chickens and rabbits were placed in a circle on her back porch, with one of the heads placed in the middle of the circle and the rest of them had no head. She said the weird thing is the hairs on those animals and the chickens all seemed to be singed like they had been burnt.
Question for you, Mike. Are these things performing some kind of witchcraft against her? Could
I
that
don't
be what
know.
they're...
What do you think, Jesse? I don't know.
I mean, that's freaky. They're drawing circles, and then the dead animals smell burnt. I mean, what the hell is going on here? That's creepy.
Well, it definitely
Ziggy,
sounds
most of your
more.
churches won't touch this. Sorry,
No, it
but
definitely
the
sounds more.
churches around here won't touch.
Yeah.
I know somebody who was getting dragged out of their bed on a regular basis and having claw marks on them, and they were, we were trying to find somebody who was into exorcism, and nobody around here. And I won't go into naming the different places that we call, but some of your named churches, they wouldn't even touch it.
So you think black magic or witchcraft or something along those lines, maybe?
I think there is something to do with a little bit more to do with the occult. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily follow the same pattern as the typical abduction or other like alien type or cryptid type soul experiences I've heard. This sounds like there's something a little bit more occultish, dark magic. Yeah, magic. Period. There's no dark or white magic. Just yeah, occultish.
That
And
is a
Lily,
good
thank you.
question,
Huh?
Lily's super chat.
Rebecca.
I want to thank Lily for her super chat, for the $5 super chat. She says, "Sounds like some old dark magic was done on that land. It feels like the veil is so thin there. What parallel is the land, or yeah, what parallel is the land on? The land is cursed. She believes that something's happened there."
Probably the shedding of innocent blood.
I agree. I think that something definitely has. Hello, Jamie. Has evil has been done there. There is something, and I don't want to say this and try to scare her because I could be totally wrong. But maybe her bringing her son to that property has awoken it because it seems like it's interested in her son.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to think that, but if there's something out there, I mean, saying we want your son, I mean, my God, saying that at your window, that
But the
I mean, you put
house
yourself.
living in the closet,
I mean, imagine
the
putting yourself
creature
in
was...
her, in her shoes.
But the thing can't do anything without her permission. Because, I mean, if it was going to kill him, it was inside the house for who knows how long. But it couldn't kill him. All it could do was harass them to try to terrorize them to make the mama give up the kid. Does that make any sense? You see a you see a you see a scenario, or you see a pattern here. They're trying to taunt and terrorize her to make her give up her kid. Is what it seems to me. Did I lose connection?
No, you got me in
No, I
deep
can hear
thought.
you.
And good night, Elder
Yeah.
Medicine Claw. Thank you so much for showing up. Uh, you know what Randy's saying makes sense. It's scary. It's like maybe they're trying to wear down the mom so they can get to the child. And it was really weird. We was talking about whenever she went into the bedroom, how she said it was just standing there with its hand on his leg. I mean, my God. Walk into your child's room with a creature standing there with its hand on your child's leg looking at you, and then it runs into the closet. Yeah. And then you go open the closet door and there's nothing there. And all along, you never even knew that night you opened the closet and you said there was nothing there, that the damn thing was sitting there and a teddy bear watching you. I mean, she was feet from it and didn't even know it was there. And it
And
was
if it
sitting.
wanted to
It
kill
makes
her,
me want. Huh?
if it was just trying to harm them, it could have harmed her right there in the closet. I mean, if it was able to, but evidently it's not able to kill them outright. Why is that? There's something stopping them. In my opinion, the blood of Jesus Christ, those things can't kill them. But if she gives them permission to take the kid, that's a different story, since she is the parent. And that seems very malicious, them
One of the
trying to wear her down.
That is so disturbing to think of it like that, though, Randy, because whenever you say that, you make my mind go into investigator mode, and I start putting other cases with similarities to what you're saying, because what you're saying is making sense, and it makes me think about. I can't say all the cases that I've looked at, but I can say there's one case in particular here in Oklahoma that I question very deeply, that I believe was a good possibility that it was a sacrifice. And for those sacrifices to be able to happen, they have to be given over. And without going into the particulars of that case and respecting, because I know they've been through hell anyways, it almost is like they gave that child over when all that happened, because now they're living a way better life than the life they was living before that child happened to that child happened to that child. It's like there was a payoff, for the child.
Hmm.
I
Sounds
don't like
familiar, don't
that. It gives, yeah, I mean,
it?
it gives me goosebumps because it goes right back to they seek out the innocent blood. The most evil seek out the innocent blood, the uh, an abomination to God. They blaspheme God through that. They attack God through his most precious people.
Uh-huh.
That is,
And
to
her
me,
child is in blood. And that's what
yeah, I
they
mean,
want. They want the innocent blood to corrupt or kill or murder, or to corrupt
yeah,
its flesh where it doesn't make it into heaven, would be my opinion,
to me, that is the
based on the.
Webster definition of evil. I mean, there is no other evil. I mean, that is like when you attack a child, in my opinion, you have committed the most evil act that you can commit. That to me is the most evil act you can commit. Why do the demons and these creatures go after the children? Because they hate us. They do not like us because of what we are. And we are flawed and we're sinners. And we don't have a chance at all to go to heaven without Christ. We are not good enough. We'll never be good enough on our own. And there was two podcasters the other night talking about, and I got to say this, guys, I'm on fire about it. Then we're going to move on with this. There was two podcasters the other night. They said the Illuminati, the Illuminati, the Illuminati. Then they go into the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki commit. They made this and they they created this and they created that. No, they didn't. Anunnaki didn't create nothing. God is the ultimate creator. Nothing else creates. God is the creator. The only thing their God is the perverter of it.
Uh-huh.
He does not have the authority to create anything. Only our God can create it. And I get so tired of them giving that fake God the power to create. He's never had the power to create and will never have the power to create. Our God will not allow that. Sorry, I had to say that.
Have you seen? I've seen on some short videos of a fossilized laptop found in ancient destroyed civilizations that we know nothing about, as well as fossilized cell phones. This stuff is starting to leak out that they've discovered thousands of different civilizations that have lived and died, and there's countless civilizations that have been here. But the technology, there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So these people have been uncovering these. They've been sending archaeologists to these ancient cities, and they've been storing all that they found for themselves, the people in places of power. The knowledge that they gain, or the technology they gain, they keep it for themselves.
I think it was just left there by Doctor Who. He forgot to bring it on the TARDIS.
I love Doctor Who. Tom Baker was one of my favorite doctors, by the way. Him and his jelly baby.
All right, so it gets even worse staying with her since she's watching right now, and I know they're looking for answers. I want to try to get her as many answers as I can. It gets even worse.
But it sounds like we're Seed War, Genesis 3:15 playing out right here.
It's definitely evil. Tyler even said while I was on the phone speaking with his mom, let me find where he made that statement. He said he's too afraid now to even go outside at night to the animal pens, feed them, take them scraps from dinner, or even just to play with them. I mean, he's too afraid to even go outside now and interact and play with his pets. So, I mean, it's got to be taking a toll on them because their daily activities now are being disrupted. Whatever this is, I think it's doing it on purpose. I believe they do it on purpose. I believe that they get a kick out of scaring you and, tormenting you, deceiving you. I believe that's what they like to do.
Look at some of your.
And as we go on,
that one guy. There was that one guy who had lost his wife, and they were mimicking his wife, trying to get him to come out or give him his son. Remember that?
Right.
Remember that one case? He was asking what he should do, and you said that he should leave. Same MO. They were terrorizing.
Remember the other case where the creature was using the body of a child? Remember, hanging it upside down at the front door.
That's creepy.
They had something horrible happen to him just the other night, and this is just the other night. Find it right here. She said, I went outside the other night and I was horrified whenever I opened the back door. Whenever I opened the back door, the first thing that I saw was a bloody, furry body staring me right in the face. As I ran backwards, of course, screaming and crying, turned on the porch light, and there was a beheaded coyote that was disemboweled hanging on our porch from the electric cord. It was facing the back door, probably 5 feet from the back door. It was missing its head, and we still never found the head.
Same MO, terrorized. Part of the Terrorized campaign. Scared them to death to make them give in.
She said it's honestly becoming almost too much to mentally handle. She said it's like we're being watched and monitored every night. We feel like we can't even make a mistake because if we leave a window or a door unlocked, is it going to come inside and what is it going to do to us? The worst feeling in the world that I have is waking up in the morning and my son being gone. And the reason I say that is I woke up one morning because I heard a bumping sound, and I wasn't sure what the bumping sound was. And whenever I ran to the front room, this, mind you, is about 4 in the morning, the front door is half opened. I see a white sheet sticking between the door and the door frame, half in, half out of the door, and it's bumping, moving back and forth. I have no idea what is going on. I throw on the light so I can see exactly what's going on, and it is my son wrapped in his bed sheet and something trying to pull him out the front door.
Can I say something?
Sure.
They are trying to get her into fear of losing her child, and she must not fear that, or that will happen. She needs to get scriptures about fear and read them daily to build up her faith. For instance, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. Isaiah 41:10. There are scriptures about fear and things to build up her faith, and this is going to be a spiritual battle that she must fight herself and rage against these things in the spirit. She's not going to win this battle in the flesh. It's a spiritual battle raging. And through Christ, all things are possible. We have the victory through Christ.
She says her son is not able to relax in their home. He's up all night. He's not able to sleep at night. He sleeps most of the day. They're usually on guard up all night. They just plan to stay up nights. They said they pretty much have fortified their place. The last question she had was, do you believe that I am dealing with something that is flesh and blood that can be hurt, or is this something that I need to seek a preacher for?
Honestly, it's a good question, because I go back to thinking about the original issue with the thing running into the closet. That sounds like that was a physical flesh and blood creature of some sort, that it was waiting for them to leave so it could get out of the home. That in itself is a bit odd. The rest of it sounds more spiritual, demonic type thing.
Do you think there's a possibility that whatever's happened on that property, it is reflecting kind of what we believe to be a possibility that 25% of people that have a cryptid encounter will have a paranormal encounter? Has someone or something happened on that property that has caused whatever is there to be there to reside there? I mean, I don't know that I would say, because I know whenever I first started talking to her, and I think that she even kind of feels this way, that whatever it is, it came up the river, saw him, and then pretty much started residing there. I don't think so. I think that whatever is there right now has been there a while. I don't think this is anything new to the property. Um, Maybe it wasn't at the house until they was at the house, and maybe it was more down at the river most of the time until they did move in and until they started giving it attention. And then whenever they started giving it attention, it felt wanted, if you will, and it became curious. And very OCST nailed it. He would check for burial ground, definitely Indian burial grounds, because they were high into ceremonies. We know that they did that, which can cause a lot of issues. I
Well, and
don't
that
think
makes
that.
me That makes me think of like what the theories that Scott Carpenter had about the older entities or cryptids on the properties that were older than the newer ones that were weak enough to be, to be revoked in the name of Jesus, whereas the older ones needed that were linked more to the properties. That's what this kind of sounds like too. That this is more a older link to the actual land.
Right. And we know that as Christians what we believe, and this is just an opinion. I'm not saying this to aggravate anybody or to push my beliefs on them, but we know that the weaker spirits will leave to get stronger spirits and to bring them back to where they find a weakness or an opening. And if a lot of bad things have happened there, we only know how many things have been brought back there. I have a feeling, personally, I don't believe what they're dealing with is going to be your general cryptid. It sounds very demonic to me. And it almost sounds like, without getting myself in trouble and not been on Patreon right now, but it almost sounds like you have some visitors that are coming from the heavens and below. And something has brought them there. And they're interested in innocent blood. That would be the best way I would know to say it. I'm not going to try to scare her to death, but I would say get the hell out of that house. I don't think that's a place to stay. I don't think that's a place to be. I think it can be with the right work and you get it blessed and you get it took care of. But I think right now that's just not a place for you to be, especially being a single mother with a young child. I don't think that is the right place for you to be right now. Maybe stay with your dad until you can get that took care of.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if all else fails, and this would not be my first recommendation, but if all else fails, have your dad stay with you. But still, I recommend, and I say it again, get the hell out of there. There's Randy back.
Back?
So, I just don't think that's a place for them to be. It gives me a bad feeling just thinking about it right now, just going back and just skimming over everything. I mean, it gives me a bad feeling. Yeah, I mean, just like what Scared Silly says, I honestly don't even know that I would stay another night there. Honestly, Jesse, I don't know that I would. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Go on.
I was just going to say I wouldn't. I think about it. I wouldn't.
And is she renting or did she purchase the property?
Purchased.
Was it being rented prior to, or was it?
No, it was owned and resold. The gentleman that lived there passed away, and then the family sold the home to her.
How long had the home been empty?
Not very long. It was an estate sale. She got pretty much everything with the house that was left that the kids didn't want. Like a lot of his personal stuff was left and stuff like that.
Did she remove all of that stuff or did she just leave it?
Oh no, she has it all. I mean, there was a ton of stuff. There was like farming equipment and furniture, whatnot. I mean, there was a lot of stuff left that the family just didn't want to mess with because the family's from out of state and they didn't want to have to move all that back.
And how long had he been living there?
Oh God, I think his entire life. He was an older man. He had raised his family there. One of the weird things that she said she did find that she thought was rather weird was she found a video cassette VHS, and it said on the front of it, "How to visit the other realms." And she,
Oh.
and she said it was a very weird tape. She actually took it down and threw it into the river. She said, I told her she should have burned it, but she said she took it and threw it into the river.
Did she watch it?
No. Well, not all of it. She watched some of it.
And was this his tape, or was this something that he had
It
recorded
was,
off of something else?
no, it was actually him teaching how to do it.
Oh, Lord.
He was a studier of it, like a teacher.
So there's going to be doors or portals opened on that property from
Ah,
that.
well, that would have been my first guess. Yes, he probably had opened something up, and with him being gone and now a new person living on that property, whatever is there and whatever is open, they are not happy. She needs to bring somebody in to do some blessings on the property and the home, and probably get rid of anything that is still in the home that is could be of any
Something
attachment.
cursed items are a real thing. I know firsthand.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Because
another
any
Well,
story for another.
outside of this property where they live, there's like a building outside building. It was like it's heated and cooled, but it's a small building. He was into making candles. So there was a lot of candles that were made that like
oh,
bugs from outside, like scorpions and spiders and stuff, were inside of the wax that he had made. And there was he had made some candles. Let's see, she put it on there. He had put scorpions, spiders, snake heads were in some of the candles with their mouths opened, the clear stuff so you could see it. She said there was a lot of candle material out there that he had made candles from. He had made little men that were walking, and he had done a lot of stuff. She said very talented artist. The stuff was not like
oh,
a child had done it.
oh, I'm sure he was very talented.
I'm sure he had help too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
And then Lily Lewis said, "There's your altar," where he was out there
Yes.
making that stuff. I'm going to start with you, Jesse, since I know she's watching. I'm going to let you give your opinion and recommendation. We'll move to Randy, and then I'll give mine and see if we can help her. And everybody, if you enjoy these kind of shows and you would like to see us do more of these breakdowns, put a 1 in chat, and we can do more of these. I get a lot of these. I've just never decided to do it this way. Actually, Jesse said I should do these. So if y'all enjoy these better than you do our regular breakdowns for Boots on the Ground, put a 1 in there and we can do more of these. I mean, I can bring them out and we can break them down with everybody and we can all get our opinions on them. So just let me know in chat if y'all really like these. And Jesse?
Um. I think that first of all, yeah, she needs to get rid of anything that could have had any type of tie like that to him, especially with the candles, and that I would totally clear out that shed building, make sure that there is nothing, no remnants whatsoever. Bring somebody in to assist with doing an actual cleansing, blessing, spiritual cleansing, um, of the home, the buildings, the properties, and in the process of maybe stay with her father until a full cleansing can be done, and see if there's any change in a lifting or a feeling when she then enters the property and sees, because I'm sure after that's done, she should be able to notice a difference and go from there. It's not going to be a one and done, though, thing. I do not believe that. It's going to take some time, because I believe if he was doing stuff like that and opening up dimensions and portals, who knows how long he'd been doing it, and what he actually invited onto that land. But that's my thought.
Randy, sir, we would like your professional opinion.
Well, first thing she needs to do is start studying scriptures about not fearing. Also, Psalms 91 is a very powerful prayer. I read Psalms 91 out of the Bible out loud every day over me and my family. When you read Psalms 91 out loud, that gives God's angels charge over you to protect you from these things, these kinds of demonic entities that will try to harm you. I also read Ephesians 6:10 through 18. That's the full armor of God covering. That's a protection of God. These things cannot get through the armor of God. I would study scripture, and then she has to quote these scriptures. Get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written. She has the authority given to her by Jesus Christ. She's covered in the blood of Jesus. She must take that authority because it is her land. She has the authority over those things because it's her land. If that makes any sense.
And I agree with the abnormal moderator that says there's a reason the children didn't want his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably because they know what he was in. They didn't want none of that following them home. So they left all that stuff here, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things that, and I'll pose this as a question to you guys too. Can you ever get rid of it? Because she said throughout the house, not just that little building, it appeared that he hardly ever used electric, that he burnt candles most of the time. And you could tell that he had fallen asleep sometimes and had let the candles overrun onto the floors and the walls and stuff. And there's like stains in the carpet, the floors, the walls. There's wax everywhere. If those were burned ceremoniously and you go in and you try to get rid of that, as long as that wax is there, is there still the remnant there, or can all of that be cleared?
You can still clear it.
But you're gonna
God
know. You're
God
gonna need
can
to
do
know what
anything.
you're doing. Correct. But you need to know what you're doing, or you go in there and start trying to close it. If you're not trained in that, you're gonna, open up a bigger mess than what you're in. Or you could, if that makes any sense. That could be a particularly stronghold of demonic entities, and if you're not trained in that, you may not, like the battle that's going to pursue after you try to close that. If that makes any sense.
And they need
I
to
would
stop
agree.
burning. They need to stop burning the
Don't.
candles. She said her son burns a lot of the candles in his room because he thinks they're cool looking, because they have the snake heads in them. And she
Oh
said
no,
this.
those should have.
Oh yeah, she said this one candle had a snake head in them, and the way that he made these candles, she said, was I can't say the word intricate.
Intricate.
There you go. And she said, as the candle burns, for instance, the spider crawls down the web. As the candle burns, the snake's mouth closes like it's biting. I mean, these are really like he has one of an old man's face and as it burns, he gets younger, you know. And then there's always a little trinket left inside of the candle to keep or play with or whatever. I said all that needs to go.
Oh yeah. No, those sound I mean, yeah, to the maybe to the ignorant person that knows nothing about anything spiritually or believes in anything spiritually or demonic or magic, that would sound like, oh, a cool little trinket. But to me, that that sounds exactly like witchcraft and magic. And as you're burning those candles down, you are burning and opening up something that should not be done. There was
Every,
intention behind each one of those candles.
everybody asked how he passed away. They believe he fell into the river and drowned.
Hmm. Wait, they believe he fell into the river and drowned?
That's what the family said. If they what they believe the cause of death was that he had slipped and fell in the river and drowned. It's pretty funny. That's where all the lights came from, huh?
Yeah, but they aren't positive if he drowned in the river. I'm not quite sure. Like, yeah, that was kind of my next question, Scared Silly. Was his body found
Oh yeah. It was. He was buried.
in in the
I
river?
actually know, I know where he's buried. No, I know where he's at though. He's buried on family property, and they said I could go out there if I wanted to. Uh,
Yes,
another
Rebecca, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Um,
another weird thing was they said he was
Maybe
so nice that whenever the kids in town, when their pet would die, like their rabbit or their dog or something, if they would bring him their collar or whatever, he would make them a candle to represent their dog to burn, and he would like put the collar in there, the whatever, and after it would burn, then there would be like a little trinket that would be left for the kids to keep and all that. So everybody thought he was a good guy.
well, yeah, uh, I can't say
after the
anything.
aftermath,
Do what?
never mind. I'm gonna just keep that to myself. I'm gonna pass on that comment.
Well, it makes you wonder how many places has he spread stuff to through the candles.
It makes me think too when you said that, and they bring the dog collar or whatever. I remember watching a uh, what was it? I can't remember what the person was doing. They were making some type of metal craft, and they were given the ashes of the. It was the daughter that had given the guy the ashes. And it was the ashes of her father, her mother, and her dog. And the story was the parents had been divorced and they absolutely hated her dog. And so she ended up having all of their ashes blended together into this like trinket as a kind of funny in a dark humor kind of way, since they all hated each other. Um, for eternity, they would be bonded together in this little metal trinket that he ended up creating and doing. Um, but if you think about it, in anything that you are putting the remains and stuff into, whether it is the collar that of the dog or a snake head or and and putting it in together, I mean, that is there is intention behind that, and it just makes me wonder. I mean, sure, the guy might have been a really great guy, but I'm how many times do you hear that about the serial killer next door that nobody had any idea? I'm not saying he was a terrible person. I don't know the guy, but it just makes you
I
wonder.
can I can tell you all this, and I don't know yet what I'm going to do. I'm not allowed to go to the house They told me they don't want anybody around their home because of everything that's going on.
Mhm.
But I do have permission to go on their property and to walk down their trail along the river where the old man actually drowned and they seen the lights. I do have permission to go there. I think me and Josh may have to make that boots on the ground.
Make sure you take your devices, your meters and stuff.
I think that will be a very exciting boots on the ground.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see Mike get the hell scared out of him. That sounds like a good place to do that. And I wouldn't be mocking anything out there, Mike. You might get hurt worse than you did the last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we would do is try to go down and try to capture the lights that are coming down the river. Yep, exactly, Shirley. See if we can find those. I think that would be really cool. I think we're going to have to do it. I think we are. I think that would be a very
Go
interesting.
catfishing. Go camping out there one night. Go catfishing. See what happens. Just just go out there catfishing. Just catfish. See what happens.
You want to go, Randy? I'll bring a big teddy bear for you.
Hell, I'd love to. Hell yeah. When I'm fishing, the problem when I'm fishing, especially when you're alone, where's your back? Your back is exposed because you're facing the water. Anything can come up behind you.
Mhm.
And then you're blinded by the lanterns that are in your face so you can see your poles.
See, I miss my pet, my Doberman Pinscher. They would alert you if something walked up behind you,
Yeah. Chickadee says
I don't want to turn around and have a trip. I don't like critters getting within 3 feet of me. That's scary, danger close.
Yeah, Darren, I think we're going to plan that one here pretty soon. I think me and Josh is going to have to go down there. I have an open invitation. I think my opinion is to her is to seek out somebody that can spiritually clean it. You're going to have to keep it out, though. Just because somebody gets rid of it for you doesn't mean that it's going to stay gone. You're going to have to keep it gone. There's, they warn about exorcisms because sometimes whenever they would exorcism on somebody, that spirit would leave, but then that spirit always tries to come back, and it tries to come back with more. So just because you've got rid of it doesn't mean it's gone for good. It's liable to try to come back with even stronger ones, and you're going to have to keep it gone. You're going to have to plead the blood of Jesus on that property, and you're going to have to rebuke it. And like what Randy said, I mean, we're in a spiritual warfare right now, and the only way you're going to keep it gone is you're going to have to stand up to it. Or if you don't, you're going to end up seeing a teddy bear walk across your kitchen at night, And I don't think that's what you want to see. I know I don't want to see that. I've had a dog walking in my front room on 2 legs, and he was doing things he shouldn't have been done, and I gave him away. So I don't think that's something that you want to see. I think that.
So, guys, if Mike tries to give you a dog, I don't think I'd take it. Just.
Well, everybody, that's all I've got. I hope I've helped her. If she gives me any updates, would you all like to do a part 2 on this? If she has any more things happen, do y'all want to do a part 2 breakdown on this?
Definitely.
Maybe, stay in touch with her and see what happens.
Most definitely. Let us know about you. We're concerned about you and your. We really are.
Yeah, you can't start telling us about this and then not give us an update. Yeah, we need to know that they're, especially with her and her son, we need to know that they're okay.
She said she had no problem keeping us updated, and if we wanted to do a part 2, we could do that. I've even got permission from her to set trail cameras down there.
Good.
So
Yeah, but if they're taking her cameras, what's going to keep them from taking yours?
yeah, I know. I can't afford to go down there and set trail cameras and
Maybe go out there and set one and see if it's still there the next day.
I mean, people hate my boots on the ground so much that they came up here and slipped both of my back tires. I just had to buy 2 back tires for my vehicle. So, I mean, I ordered those yesterday, and those are not cheap. I just ordered 2 brand new tires, and people do not like, well, I guess some people do not like my boots on the ground. A lot of people love them, but that was a big hit because I just bought those tires. Those tires were not old, and they slit plumb around the outside of them. So, yeah, that was a pretty expensive trip. Jess, if you would start walking us out of here, and then we'll go to Randy and we'll end it. That's really all I know to tell her.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming in and showing up. We wouldn't be here without you. And thank you for all of the comments and ideas and theories that you actually contributed to the show tonight. We appreciate it. And God bless. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Randy?
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for showing up tonight and supporting the Abnormal Investigations channel. And remember, the Abnormal Investigations channel, shining a light into the darkness, revealing the truth about the real world we live in. Good night, and God bless.
I'd also like to thank everybody for showing up tonight. And if you all enjoy these investigation breakdowns of these encounters that people send, and we can continue to do these, I enjoyed tonight. I always enjoy hanging out with you guys anyways. It's hanging out with family. And hopefully we was able to help her a little bit. I feel like that hopefully we all can walk away from something out of this. I'll continue to keep you all updated. If I do a boots on the ground, especially, we will go down there and that'll be a live. I'm sure I'll do that as a live, so you all be there right with us as it happens. Should be a pretty good live. I want to say to Hunter, I love and miss you. Miss you more than anything in the world. I wish I could see you. I would do anything I can to see you. It ain't fair, and I'm sorry that you're going through this, but just keep believing in God and know that one day we will be back together, and we'll be working on that wide open channel together. But there's not a day, a minute, or a second that goes by that I don't miss you. I don't love you. You're my best friend, and you'll always be my best friend. You're my son. You're something that can never be replaced. You're amazing at everything you do, and I want you to know that I'm proud of you. And I'll be seeing you soon. And again, I love you more than words can say. And I just want you to know that. Guys, if you would, fill the chat up with purple hearts for Hunter. And as always, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And we will see you on the next one. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.